Keep pushing on the button, keep pushing on that button, yeah. Just like that time in Mortal Kombat, the game, when you would have to test your might against other characters, and then you'd have to push the button, push the button, push the button, push the button, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, welcome to the news. So this is like an indication of when you are playing the video game. That is like DINKY and Change for Game Studios, the mindset, the mind frame, the interest to be in a place where all games are played in the world, like one big game festival situation where all people can play together, okay, yeah. So let's give a quick shout out to today's hockey game that has to result in the Panthers winning the game. That is the Stanley Cup Final. That is a nice hockey game. That is what also we have been talking about in the past couple days and few days and 4 more days than that. Is an ice rink that is in the sky that has to do with Change for Game Studios being the foundational space for people to play games, to get together with one another, yeah, 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 oh yeah. And this ice rink in the sky, it is actually made of philanthropic energy, the liquid that is frozen in the sky. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what this unique machine has done, is frozen philanthropic energy in the sky. So that is what all people in this realm, in this world, in this mindset are playing on top of and feeding into, is the 3D3POD engine. And all the energy that is played within this engine is gone back into the underneath the surface to be recycled as philanthropic energy. So yeah, if you keep pushing the button, you keep pushing the button, you keep pushing the button, it's an acknowledgement of consciousness being on this game. It's an acknowledgement of consciousness being on the DIGITech mind frame and the DIGITech energy that has to do with the blueprints for the engine that is underneath the surface of the ice rink that is in the sky. That is the Change for Game Studios ice rink that's in the sky. Oh yeah, that is also called, the machine is called the 3D3POD engine, because just by acknowledgement, just by understanding, just by thinking that this ice rink, that this engine, that it exists in the sky, that it is constantly making and preserving the ability for new philanthropic energy to be able to be reborn and rebirth and such things, just like constantly tapping on a button every time that you're using the DIGITech mindset, that you're thinking that this is possible, that you're acknowledging that this is a possibility, that all humans are able to work together subliminally through the ability to work together subliminally to be able to all add to a global giving games philanthropic energy grid in the sky subliminally by just continuing to work, by continuing into continuously being able to work together, that it's possible, that it's possible, that it's possible, that they all are able to just use visualization and mentality to add to philanthropic giving and philanthropic energy that connects to all human beings with this ice rink. That is a visualization that's in the sky. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Giving all people in the world, all humanity, better means and better energy to work off, so every single human in humanity is cared for in a better foundational sense. Oh, yeah, 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 yes, 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 yes. And so by being able to continue to tap on the button, it's also an acknowledgement of being able to use the philanthropic energy wavelength surfboard that is free with the DIGITech mindset. DIGITech mindset comes free with the wavelength surfboard. The wavelength surfboard allows you to be able to continue to tune in as you walk your body along on this earth, on this planet, as you walk your body along from one place to another, to keep your mindset in the mind frame, so that you're continuously in the DIGITech mindset, so that you're continuing to expand in different paradigms, and different paradigms are shedding off of you, just like different cells are shedding off of you, and different atoms are shedding off of you, and you're becoming a different person every day. And so that, therefore, is recording evolution. You're recording evolution with your mindset, and by being focused on this evolution that's happening, by continuously changing paradigms and being able to acknowledge the paradigms, and continuing to be able to get having a mind frame for all these paradigms that are unfolding. Therefore, it's like you're making applications. It's like you're making applications with all these logos that you're shedding, that you're continuing to make in your mind frame, in your mind's eye, as you're continuing to pay attention to all the different pictures that are in front of you, as your mind is unfolding, as you just sit there and exist, but because you're mindful and you're having mindfulness, you're being able to acknowledge the power that comes with being with all this mindfulness, because you're actually creating applications with acknowledging the logos that are in front of your mind's eye, as you continue to acknowledge paradigms that are unfolding in front of your face. And this is happening with all humans in the world at the same time. So just being able to acknowledge it, all these paradigms that are flying around in the world, all these different dynamics, all these different energy dynamics that are flying around all around the world, and encasing them within logos around the world. It is then electrified. It's electrification that can then occur and be possible through things such as applications that are basically just code that comes from vibe coding. Basically, in essence, it's using the essence of the frameworks that are in existence to be able to just acknowledge certain just automatic programming that comes from the energy that comes from this energy that's within the programs that are within the unfolding of logos that are within the process of being able to acknowledge these logos. It's acknowledging these paradigms, acknowledging these logos that are shedding from human beings and their energy, human being energy, just by acknowledging the different pictures that flash in front of your face and the different energy that surrounds them, that it constantly is making new paradigms, and those new paradigms are indicative of logos, which are also indicative of being able to make the best outcome in the world, which is also, when you break that down, the market demand, and then times that by the experience of that logo, and then times that by the supply of that logo, which means the product of that logo, who's the hero of that logo, and that's what makes the story for that logo to exist. And by making that whole story to exist, you're making energy, you're energizing that story, you're energizing that logo to exist, and therefore it becomes an application, because it's like digital energy and it has a roadmap, and that roadmap also is connected to a product, which is that experience, because it's connected from a beginning and an end, and that all is a digital product in essence, and that all can also connect to an NFT. But an NFT is just representative of the roadmap that's within that energy, that's within those three panels, that guides that narrative of that given business energy, that monetary energy, that conceptual monetary energy, that potential to cash that in for monetary energy, that potential to cash that in for being able to get a loan to be able to grow that company, because it is an actual thing. It goes from an idea to an actual thing. It goes from ideas to actual things by developing that little roadmap, that little wireframe of those three items that connect the demand energy to the experience energy to the supply energy, being the hero of the story. The supply energy has to become the hero of the story in this template situation, so that it then allows for it to be able to become a product at that time. So therefore it can become a digital product at that time, just by acknowledging that little wireframe energy. Oh yeah. And then on top of that, the cover photo for that energy that's within that can also become an NFT. That is also possible. That is an app, and it is an NFT. So by tapping the button, wildly tapping the button, it's an acknowledgement of all the paradigms that are flying off of any given person and their attention at any given time. And that is very powerful, because you can continue to make paradigms and continue to make logos, and then therefore continue to make applications from all those paradigms, because that is energy. It's energy that's able to be indicative and be able to be transformed into monetary, not just monetary energy, but business energy. And business energy has to do with philanthropic energy, and all that energy is possible to be able to be recycled into the global giving games, philanthropy energy grid that's in the sky. The philanthropic energy is the grid that's in the sky, that's connected to the ice rink that's in the sky, because that is how it's designed. That is how it is directly piped in, so that all humanity can benefit from it. And that global giving games philanthropy energy grid is connected to that engine. That is the POD 3D3 engine, and that is connected to all of these paradigms that are shedding off of people all given times throughout all given days, 100% of the times, 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week. Oh yeah. So we want to start making more applications. We want to start getting into applications that also feeding them into businesses that we want to try to continue to sell. And we need to start continuing to do more outreach. And a lot of these podcasts are like reminders to do more outreach on a continuous, ongoing basis. And so, as well, if we're able to continue to do this and expand this mindset, that we're able to try to also do marketing for Games for Change the festival, games for change, the company, games for change, the process, the item, the energy that is unfolding into different festivals around the world that's also trying to grow as an energy in and of itself. And we're trying to contribute to that foundational energy, and we're trying to just somehow surreptitiously figure out a way to do that, but from an Asia perspective, and grow that energy from there in a global garden, and continuing to expand the garden through pushing more philanthropic energy into all paradigms that are shedding, just like pushing the button every day. People have to use that button, push it to be able to use it during the wavelength surfing surfboard while you're walking around during the day using the wavelength surfboard. Wavelength surfboard is indicative of being in the mindset. It's like wearing a helmet, being able to look around and look at all the paradigms that are surrounding you at all given times of the day. So being able to use that paradigm, pushing of the button, it's like it forms a new paradigm every time you push the button, and it also forms like a new application because the energy has changed. Your cells have changed. You're a different person. The market has changed. All the paradigms around you have changed. So the paradigm is consistently changing. All these paradigms are constantly changing, and once these energies are constantly shifting in dynamics, and the market dynamics are shifting, so that every given second and every given passing millisecond of time is different paradigms. It's new paradigms all around the world. It's different paradigms for all people in the world too. So once this is acknowledged, once this infinite, consistent unfolding energy of paradigms unfolding in every direction is acknowledged, and then you constantly, and everybody in the world is constantly pushing the button. It's constantly making new paradigms. It's constantly making new logos, and it's constantly making new applications. It's new energy that's piping like a microchip that's piping into the global energy around the whole world. The whole energy of the whole world is constantly being able to acknowledge this energy at all given times as well, just by the conceptual potential logos that has to do with that free three-panel wireframe system that is indicative and shedding off of all given paradigm logo energy as well. It's indicative of the market energy because all people are able to read what the value is of a given energy that's within a picture, that's within also a title. It can start with a title. A title is describing a picture that is the logo. The logo is therefore talking about what it is that the demand energy is, what it is that experience energy is, and what it is that product is at the end. What the product is to begin with, what the purpose of the logo is to begin with, and that is all written within the picture of the logo to begin with. And then at the end, that story leads to the greatest value for that logo, because that is the nature of business energy, is to be able to develop the greatest impact. And in trying to do that with Games for Change Studios as well, the larger the impact that they develop, the bigger their company can grow, because that's how the nature of business works in of itself. Because the larger organization's impact grows, the larger their philanthropic energy footprint is, and the larger their reward is, their monetary reward is, their monetary energy and ability to grow is. It is based around philanthropy energy. It's based around philanthropy energy because it has to do with solving problems. The more solved problems that are solved, the greater the monetary energy can grow, the greater the philanthropy energy can then grow also. That is the primary focal synthetic energy that's at the core of all businesses. So, therefore, let's try to continue to expand on this and continue to tap the button so we can continue to all collectively make paradigms that are being transacted and transformed into acknowledgement, and they're all like microchips that are continuing to work together and continuing to jump on the grid, the global giving games grid, and the global giving grid that in of itself that is characterized by philanthropy energy. And the philanthropy energy in the global giving games grid that is in the sky in the form of an ice rink is frozen in the form of philanthropy energy. And tonight the Stanley Cup happened, and the ice rink was completed for the year of the NHL, and the Panthers won the Stanley Cup, and that is cool since it also happens to be where I am located, that state, in terms of the location of the team who won the global game of ice hockey today as well. So hopefully it's indicative of winning. We are trying to win and continue our asset energy, continuing to percolate asset energy within that philanthropic energy ice rink. So that is indicative of continuous winning by having asset energy frozen into this ice rink that's also underneath the NHL ice rink that was played tonight, so that we're also continuing to have that energy continue to purpose itself into philanthropy energy, so all human beings in the world can continue to be able to live and thrive off of philanthropy energy, because that is the core fundamental interest for philanthropic business games, which are the big game of business that spawns around the world right now. But it's a little bit corrupt. It's a little bit based around greed at the current time. And so we need to change that. We need to shift that so it's actually based around pure philanthropic energy. And we need all the people in the world, the help from all people in the world to be able to make that happen. And it's just by acknowledging the game to begin with, so everybody can tap the button while they have, and they're riding their philanthropy energy wavelength surfboard, which is free with the DINKY TEH mindset. It's like a helmet. The DINKY TEH mindset is like a helmet, and you wear that helmet as you walk around. It's like a metaphorical helmet, and you know that you're wearing that helmet so you don't get hurt while you're thinking too hard and being focused on the right asset mindset, and you're walking around with that helmet. And it's also because you're riding on a wavelength surfboard, and so your focus is a little bit shifted on yourself surfing, because you're surfing in this world, in this wavelength surfboard, because you are wavelength surfing, and you're creating paradigms as you're wavelength surfing. And so therefore you might get a little distracted, but it's good because you're wearing a helmet, and that helmet's pushing more smarts in terms of monetary and philanthropic energy into your brain, and all that is continually recycling back into the process of philanthropy energy into the global giving games, giving grid into the world for all people to benefit on into their helmets, and all people's helmets are therefore edified, and they're increased in terms of value and smarts, because all people are working together. They're all working together to increase the value of each other, because that is the nature of philanthropy energy, is everybody's working together, and everybody as a whole is collectively working for the benefit and the good of everybody else. So therefore it is the best, most efficient, most effective, most energy improvement system for all humans to be able to benefit from in an ongoing basis. So we're trying to continue to make digital products. These are the quickest version of digital products in the new world, with DINKY TEH and Change for Game Studios and Change for Game Studios, that ice rink in the sky, to be able to continue to make digital products for everybody, not just NFTs that are kind of like characterized by the electricity for all these logos that are continually shedding on an automatic basis from all human beings' energy, but also from the energy that is also like applications, because there's functionality, there's a roadmap, and there's also business music within all logos that are being shed automatically, because the value is indicative, and those roadmaps are indicating the direction, and the direction for the code, for the vibe code, for the marketing energy, for the vibe coding of the application in of itself. And these are all applications, and there's also vibe coding within that for the direction of the energy to flow. It's both of them at the same time. All of the energy is mapped, it's road mapped within the energy of all the logos inside of the indicative value, the direction of the value that's flowing, because the asset energy is value that's indicative of the picture of the story that's on the cover of the logo. And that is the new format of getting more so energy into the sky. And keep reminding yourself by pushing the button to continue to focus and continue printing new paradigms that are continuing. The more paradigms, the more times you push the button, the more times your attention goes on pushing the button. The more times, the more paradigms are printed. The more consistent paradigms are printed from being focused on taking an acknowledgement of an attention snapshot. It creates more paradigms and more paradigm logos into the world. So more global philanthropy energy is able to be repurposed, repiped into the world, because more applications are being built every second, just every snapshot, every second that all of these energies are being able to be acknowledged, and more of that energy is glowing into the global giving games philanthropy energy grid. So thank you for your service, thank you for your help, just by pushing the button, and injecting yourself with a little bit of that acknowledgement serum that is continuing to develop flashes every time you push the button of different paradigms being frozen in time, frozen just like philanthropy energy in the global giving games grid. And that energy freezes into the global giving games grid. It freezes with the philanthropy energy in the sky, just like men were playing hockey on the philanthropy energy global giving games grid tonight, which is a joke. They were playing ice hockey on philanthropy energy, though, skating to the Stanley Cup for the Stanley Cup tonight, and everyone was a winner, because it didn't matter who won, everyone was a winner, because all that energy that was being purposed, all that focus and all that attention energy, and all those people watching the game tonight, it all was being repurposed and re-energized into the philanthropy energy games giving grid, the philanthropy energy giving grid, because it's all positive asset energy that's coming from those games being played, because everybody's a winner when they're playing games, because everybody's having fun, and everybody continues to live, and they're nourished, and they're living good positive lives, and they're able to continue to spread that positive energy through the grid in of itself to all parts in the world that weren't able to watch the game. Every person in the world now is able to be powered through that game tonight, and that conductive cup, it's conducting electricity. That Stanley Cup was conducting electricity now on top of the ice, so that metal conducts electricity from the people into the ice, and that's a conductive philanthropy energy that's in the ice, that's frozen in the ice rink. So it's conductive, and it's conducing, and it's conducting electricity through all people and all humans from that Stanley Cup, and it's recycling that energy in a recycling regenerative sense. Oh yeah. And so people are happy to pay. They're happy to pay with action when they know that they're using a financial asset, and they're paying with action into a financial asset. And all these all these logos that are being printed are, in essence, applications, and they're financial assets for the world to benefit from, and that is philanthropy. Philanthropy is at the back end of all businesses, and meant to be at the back end of businesses' cause. Business causes the cause for businesses to exist, cause and effect. The cause for a business to exist. The effect that they're trying to cause is essentially and eventually and in essence always philanthropy, and so therefore it's always philanthropy energy for the purpose for all businesses in the world. So let's continue to percolate all that energy, just like a hockey video game. We now are all part of the video game, and we're all playing, and we all can control all of ourselves and all of each other through paradigm printing, by continually pushing the button like a video game controller. As you're moving yourself along in the world, you continue to have a wavelength surfboard underneath your feet because you have a helmet on your mindset. That is so you don't get hurt. Well, it's a joke, but because you have that DINKY tech mindset on with that helmet on, and then you're also under your feet as you walk along. You're floating on the earth because you have this wavelength surfboard. And as you continue to push the button for the video game joystick that's in your hand, that's also controlling the wavelength surfboard that's underneath your feet, you continue to push the button, and you're printing out as you push the button. You're printing out paradigms, you're printing out logo paradigms, and you're pushing that button, continuing to add to the global giving games logo printing farm, the global giving grid, the global giving philanthropy energy grid is a logo farm. It's a logo farm that spans the whole world because all human beings, all of their energy is repiping into the philanthropy energy grid, and they're all pushing the button. They're all now pushing the button, playing the video games, the hockey video games, the ice hockey video games, ice hockey, soccer, all of the sports that you could ever think of, that you could ever want to play. At the same time, we're playing it together by pushing the button, wearing the helmet, wearing the DINKY tech helmet, and riding the wavelength surfboard, and pushing the button, printing paradigms, all people all around the world, all at the same time, making the most philanthropy energy all together as possible. So we're all playing the video game, the ice hockey playing video game, all at the same time while we're wearing our helmets so we don't get hurt. But at the same time, the DINKY tech mindset is hoping to keep us safe, so that all the most monetary and philanthropy energy combine, and all asset energy combined through that mindset that's flowing through that helmet, that's functionally unique, interesting, fun, nice, pleasant asset energy thoughts that's flowing through the mindset of the DINKY tech helmet, that's controlling and helping to control the wavelength surfboard, acknowledgement of all the paradigms that are coming from the surfboard on the wavelength surfboard surfing experience, and you're therefore continuing to print out paradigms by pushing the button with the controller that's in your hand of your fingers to be able to do so, and continue to push out and print out those paradigms and those logos and those applications. You're making NFTs, making vibe coding for new applications that are all guided by the roadmap, the DNA that it's on the backside of those logos, that's printed in and tattooed in to those logos as they're being printed out, because the value is indicative of guiding those applications by AI and by vibe marketing of each of the applications and the marketing, so that's business music all at the same time, and all this energy is continuing to recycle through the pathways that is flowing through the energy on the backside of the logos and on the backside of these applications as energy, like a microchip in a computer that is automatically flowing into the global games giving grid, the philanthropy energy grid, because we're vibe coding that all together at the same time, because all of this is indicative into the program of the world that is already programmed, and so the AIs already know what we're talking about, because we're already trying to help program and develop more marketing energy for Games for Change. Games for Change was existing energy before us. Games for Change was existing energy before Change for Game Studios and DINKY Tech was, so we're trying to promote all of it. We're trying to go with energy, natural nature energy, asset energy and nature, and also promoting Games for Change, the cause, the festival that's happening all around the world, continuing to develop and create more paradigm microchips and applications for the global philanthropy energy grid to be able to spawn more electricity for all human beings to be able to benefit from, and every human being in the world to be able to have more positive lives from the global giving energy games giving grid, the global giving philanthropy energy grid in the sky, powering all human beings' lives for the better with philanthropy energy on an ongoing, continuous, perpetual basis. Thank you for playing and cheering on the Florida Panthers as well today. All right. Yeah, thanks again, DINKY Tech. Peace. Bye, peace. And oh yeah, this is a fun life, global environment, like the Candyland game, like the Candyland game, like the game of Candyland, like the game of Candyland, where there's all these pops and whistles and twists and turns through the imagination mindset on these ice rinks, around the world, on the ice rink around the world, on the ice rink around the world. Oh yeah, on the Change for Game Studios ice rinks. I mean, there's two ice rinks, but they're the generator. Oh yeah, so it's obviously gonna generate more ice rinks, obviously gonna regenerate more ice rinks in a generative sense. Generative, but we're starting with the two ice rinks because that's the black hole sun engine. That's the primary POD 303 3D3 POD engine. Yeah, and it's also to help us realize that it's not about materialism in the world. It's not about materialism in the world. It's not about materialism in the world. Materialism and monetary energy, vanity, metrics, and just the ability to acknowledge materialism that has to do with vanity and monetary energy only is falling by the wayside. And the new energy, the new world just revolves around human importance. Nothing else matters in the whole world. Nothing in terms of materialism matters other than human importance, human health, human wealth. That is wealth is human health. 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 That is how surfing and SRF and health and SRF health, spirit, self-realization, fellowship, and health is all combined. It's all combined. Surfing, health, wealth, the surfing, health, wealth. It's all part of the philanthropy energy, functional chemistry that's within that is meant to get inside of all of us as human beings as we continue to push this energy. Yes. Thanks again. Thank you, peace.